Hello, the bewildered traveler blog readers. Today we have Mario Schulzke, a native German who's now living in America, and he has quite the story to tell us.
About 5 or 6 years ago, when I quit my job at the time, I decided to backpack through China, and I'd never been to China. I don't speak the language one bit, so it was going to be an experience quite different than any travel experience that I had before. So I arrived in Beijing, and the thing about Beijing was, like, you constantly had people walking up to you and pretending like they wanted to learn English. So these kids would walk up to you. Oftentimes it was girls, and they're like, "Oh, it's like, we want to learn English, and it's like, can we walk with you?" And then they try to, like, bring you to different places and sell you different things and whatever. And I was very, like, wary of that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna fall for that. That's stupid." So then and there was all these, like, younger college kids and girls, like I said. And then these two old guys walked up to me. They were probably, like, at the time I was like 24, 25, and they might have been like 35 or something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, they're not going to be screwing tourists over. It's just these two old guys." One of them claimed he was a doctor, the other guy was a pharmacist or something like that. Anyways, so I started walking with these guys because I didn't really know where I was going. I just arrived there by train, and I was wandering around Beijing, and we check out a couple of different, like, monuments and stuff like that. And then they're like, "Oh, we should show you a pharmacy. It's the oldest pharmacy in China, and you go in there and that, like, like elephant stuff and shark stuff and whale stuff and whatever." And then they're like, "Oh, we should do a tea tasting." And so I'm like, "Oh, I've never done a tea tasting. This is a great experience. What a great story I'll be able to tell." I meet these two random guys, and we do a tea tasting, and we're at the top of the oldest pharmacy in China. So we walk up the pharmacy, and we get to the top floor, and there's literally Chinese military soldiers, like, with weapons, like, standing at the door with guns. So I walk in, we do the whole tea tasting thing, and it's tea tasting. It's like they just bring out like 5 different kinds of tea, and you drink tea, and then they walk out, and then they brought up, like, at the very end of it, they're like, they brought me this, like, ceramic gift, like, like a teapot, kettle, and all this stuff. And I'm like, "I can't accept that. Like, you kidding me? No. It's like, because I didn't want those guys to buy me anything. So I go, "Okay, but let me pay for the tea tasting. So you give me that gift. Let me pay for the tea tasting." And they're like, "Oh, that is so kind, blah, blah, blah." So then the tea tasting thing, like, the bill comes, and it's like $400. And, like, everything in China is like $5. And here I am with a $400 tea tasting bill. But at that time, it's like I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's like, but there's, like, guys with weapons in front of the fucking door, like, and these guys were, anyway, so I picked up the bill, and I paid $400 for a goddamn 30-minute tea tasting. And then I went home. I went back to my hotel room. And at this point, I didn't really quite recognize yet that I was being screwed over. That I just got screwed over. Like, I was still a little like, wow, that was a really expensive tea tasting. And then I recognized it, and I called my bank, because fortunately I paid with credit card, and I fought it. And I don't know if they gave me the full amount back, but I got something back.
Nice.
That was a pretty horrific story.